Okay. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. The stream will start now. Okay, さあ行きましょう。Hellish Hellas. You're admiring an exquisitely woven cape. The shop owner claims it's made of a special wool that grows on trees in a distant land near the edge of the world, where Alexander won his last great battle. Don't know what to make of this far-fetched story, but it certainly looks and feels a lot better than common wool. Such a fine possession may improve your status a little, though it doesn't come cheap. The merchant is asking the equivalent of 200. It's a deal of 40 denarii and the cape is yours. Let's get it. Fairy tales or not, this high-quality cape is certainly very comfortable. It also makes her remarkable. You have not found any mini? Enemies will the peculiar curved short sword emerge from the boots and attack your flanks. One of them flings his javelin at you. You deflect his attack and prepare to meet at close quarters. Sika. He's not very skilled. Not this head. Siori. Not really that good. Fixed it. This is your mission. Your canals have increased. Here it is. It's very close to catching your army unprepared near and soon after you attempt to march into Upper Macedonian region of Eordea, and Europe is the only way in. What do you? Your scout pass has been fired. Anything else? The ground is too difficult for the enemy. You are kept in risk time, and you observe the advance of some maniples. From an elevated, an archer pestering them with arrows, but they know what to expect and march tightly under their large shields. When they get to advance to a halt, It seems the defenders are throwing stones at them. Must be bull, but almost nothing. But the noise is certainly frightening many. It takes a while for the officers to regroup the men and resume the advance. They finally reach the ramparts and begin the masses. At the same time, you see other units at the hilltop. A short and brutal clash ensues. The enemies ousted and your fellow legionaries have gained a convenient access to the rear of the Macedonian line. When they reach the battle becomes a one-sided bloodbath. You have gained access to Jordan, but the pass was defended by relatively groups. Is there what should be GM at the moment? Even with majority of the enemy army out, there are strong rumors about in the north of their country. They're pushing deep into Macedonia. Your supply lines are already stretched as they can. It doesn't matter. You have the region of Eordea at your mercy, and at the moment, several towns fall with hardly any resistance. Heavy with plunder and leaving a trail of destruction behind you, you move back into the territory of the Desarate. Chooses the city of Pelion as a future base of operations against Macedonia. Its inhabitants don't share his view. You will capture Pelion by force. Today you'll storm the city walls, where men are at getting the right link to a difficult task. If you say, they listen to your rank. There's already only the field test will tell if ways or direly wrong. You're at the city. They do what they can with their actions as the ladders are propped up the walls. They did an outstanding job. Their length is perfect, the assault will be easier. The first man over the wall will receive a mural, one of the most highly regarded award in the army. As the senior centurion in a mantle, you should count on the help of your men. Go for the mural crown. Yeah, okay. Oh, come on. How can you miss that? Yes. What's with the... And that's another one down. A healthy man in his prime, hastily recruited in a time of dire need. Oh, come on, what's with the... Oh, come on, how can you miss And that's the last one. As soon as the last enemy is dispatched and the top of the wall is secured, else has made it. You're the first. The last remaining resistance is broken. The city is yours to take. Not long afterwards, you are walking along the streets of Pelion. Or the same as usual in this kind of situation. Be an animal on your right. There is a beautiful small temple to the goddess Ceres, whom the locals call Demeter. You see a lone man in the streets. The moment is frozen with terror. He is unarmed, scrawny to fight anyway. Hardly a threat. A couple of legionaries promptly move towards him, swords at the ready. You're command of this group. The soldiers look at you in confusion, but you repeat your command and back in line. Still, nobody questions your order. You gesture the old man to go into the temple and stay there. As he complies, you hear a sigh of relief from someone among the ranks. After a while, the stallion has been secured. The slaughter is over, pillage begins. When the situation has settled down, the rewards for the fight at the wall are assigned. You are awarded a mural crown along with a munificent prize. Philip had to deal with an invasion by the Dardanians from the north. As a rich now, hot pressed by a massive after garrisoning the freshly stadium, Galbards were to your original starting point. The rid of your raid in Upper Nia and Dasaratea. Part of it has been inside and is going to be up to an extreme of the crop of the army. Each winner will receive. There are 2 runners up and 100 for a village well prowess. The 5th. Keep a steady pace. Sprint! You and Equitius advance towards the finish line, neck on neck. Even Equitius has to succumb to your phenomenal sprint. You have won. The consul himself congrats you on your thrilling victory as he hands the prize to you. Vilius Tapulus brings reinforcements from and take a storm of over. But the African campaign are mutinying. For one thing, they claim that they have never volunteered for this war, but were forced to embark by the tribunes of the former consul. For they have served for long enough and have the right to go back to their families. He has an exceptional diplomatic skill. The new consul Tapulus is a man close to Scipio, who after his triumph against Hannibal has a strong influence in Rome. He promises he will write to the Senate with a person to listen to the veterans' demands. All he asks in return that a mutiny is called off immediately. The agreement makes everyone happy. Not really fun when you can't improve anymore. With the arrival of the spring news of Philip's presence, eager to leave winter quarter, move towards the enemy. You're encamped after a long day when something completely unexpected happens. The new consul is here, ready to take command and send Tapulus back to Rome. He left than customary and hurried by forced marches since then. He's very young for a consul, about your age, but Titius Quintinius Flaminus looks like a very driven man. A few days later, his reinforcement has brought over 3,000 men, many of them veterans who served in Hispania or Africa. You're crossing another stony trail. Suddenly, you notice something that freezes you in your tracks. There's a next to your left foot. Its flat triangular head is staring at you. Attack! With an impressive economy of movements, you unsheath your sword and decapitate the snake. Aliens chuckle at your display of nerve. The consul holds you in such high esteem that he offers to let you train with an old gladiator master. Retinue, which aspect of your combat skills do you hone? You'll learn new tricks of the trade and techniques that bring an all-round improvement to your combat skills. You've been a sword. $818.81. What's with sound? Not hook well or connection? Need slightly better coverage, but that penalty awareness. Oh. Some extra money. Let's move on. You overhear two tribunes discussing the present situation. The youngest of the pair insists that it would be better to take the long road through Daceretia, bypass the enemy entirely, and invade Hispania. His colleague replies that such a move would leave Philip's army between you and your bases on the coast. Not the brightest maneuver he has ever seen. It will also solve nothing. If you want to obtain a decisive advantage, face the Macedonians now. The consul Flaminius must have thought the same, or march to the river Aeus, where the enemy is waiting for you. You may camp and prepare for the inevitable. So many years of camp, and you are still not used to this. Regardless, you don't let any of your nervousness show on the outside. The enemy's position is very solid and difficult to attack. It is no surprise accepts a summit with Philip to discuss terms. He needs time to figure out how to crack this nut. It's even less surprising when the meeting comes. The next day, several skirmishes erupt between patrols from the Macedonians. The fighting is spreading quickly, and your unit is sent to reduce the pressure. Philip has thing you notice are the 20 feet tall, but the phalanx is approaching. You have seen many things in the last 12 years. None of them were as scary as 5 layers of spear points advancing towards you like an impregnable death-dealing wall. When the other side is at the right distance, you prepare to hurl your first javelin. You take aim at one of the enemy soldiers and hurl your javelin. Your target is wounded and falls, causing some disarray. How do you miss that? Chop, 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 chop. Chop. Yes. You've broken through the spear wall. You engage the phalangites without wasting time. You are outnumbered, but they are not as skilled as you at close quarters. How do you miss that? Oh, God. This is bullshit. Oh, come on, let me rest. Same no matter what. Almost to. Typical. on. Seriously wounded? Quicker. You've opened up a gap in the phalanx. The Legion in your wake and engage the astonished Macedonians. Their position becomes weaker and weaker until they start falling back. Skirmishers promptly interfere to cover their withdrawal. They can't hold you for long, giving chase as soon as you have regrouped. Your pursuit takes you closer and closer to the enemy camp. The ground is getting unfavorable. Such a slope will make it very difficult for you to fight. In an instant, the rise of your unions alert you to more horrifying danger. The Macedonians put up siege weapons to reinforce their position. They are shooting at you with their eye. Smashes your shield and knocks you off your feet. In this moment, your first clear thought your arm is still attached. It's a blow, or you would have been dead already. Enemies are approaching from above. You feel very vulnerable without a shield. Stay with fight, even with shield, whether by break induced by the trauma. You steel yourself to repel the approach enemies. Tyrioforos. Medium alt infantry. That's one. Bien. That's two. Well, if the BGM is a bit bad, I can... And that's three. Ah. How do you miss? So much, the enemy starts pulling back. So much chance and you still miss. As soon as you gain a little ground, the defense unravel your... When sunset comes, the skirmish dies out. On the way back, you grab hold of an abandoned shield to replace the one used. That last skirmish proved that you can defeat Flip with a frontal attack, not as long as advantageous position. One night, your maniple of many others are silently gathered in the intervallum ramparts and the tents. It is a little army, big as a legion. A tribune is in charge. There's a bound. You march under the moonlight, moving away from the enemy. At least in it. Eventually, you take a path to the mountains. Before dawn, you encamp to eat dinner, only to resume journey at night. Man is a local ship who promised to lead you behind the Macedonian camp. He is bound sure he stays true to his word, but has been promised a rich payment for his help. On the third night, you are told to be doubly vigilant. You must be very close to your destination. For one brief instant, you see what looks like a helmet glint in the moonlight on a right. Enemy lookouts. You immediately raise the alarm. Take part in the chase. Even with the moonlight, the hunt is very demanding, and the lookouts have have had a good head start, but lose sight of them. Although is keeping up with you, when the two fugitives realize you are getting too close, they turn around to fight a desperate battle. Tyrioforos. Nice hit. That's one. Yeah, oh, knock knock. Reloading chem is a near perfect hit. Well, lucky. Yes. Yeah. Worry. Other legionaries are arriving into this battle is already over. You rejoin the bulk of your march. You have played a salient role in getting in boats and dealing with the threat. This is getting noticed. Your intellect has increased. And a cup. You arrive at your destination before dawn. You're told that the enemy is below the other side of the height you are holding right now. You can take some time to rest, but soon in the morning the tribunes your position to the console with a column of smoke. After this, full to wait and be at the ready. It is hard to say how long you've been waiting. In moments like these, time always seems to slow down. Now you can clearly hear the noise of battle coming from the other side. At last, the chance is given. When you're above the enemy camp, you can feel their panic even from this far. Some of them attempt to advance, but they are routed with ease. The rest of the Macedonian is fighting against the troops that remained with Flaminus. Approaching from behind is too much. They give up the battle and flee. But not for the rugged ground that hampered your cavalry, Philip would have lost most of his army today. As it is, many of the Macedonians managed to escape. King, you could have won the war on this very day. On a positive note, they have left behind some of their possessions in their hastily flight. Money. Ooh. What is... Consul Flaminus is known for being a Philhellene, a great Asian culture. He thinks virtuous honorable souls like help establish firm lasting ties with the locals. Your victory at Ios through Epirus and into Tessa, a region long under Macedonian dominion. Here you are joined by two allies, the Aetolians and the Athamanes. They've already taken control of several towns. Is determined to capture the city of Phaloria, but it is garrisoned by 2,000 soldiers of Philip's army. It soon becomes clear that to be harder than usual. Runners are driving back assault. Days after the siege, your patrol captures a group of merchants not too far from the city. You have no stomach for this. Very soon and they learn nothing of relevance. You have already heard the return is uneventful. Storm the city walls. Wherever you look, men are at work building ladders. Getting linked can be difficult. They've done this a few times. They help you. The ladders are ready. Only the field test will tell if your evaluation was right or direly wrong. You advance towards the city. The assault begins. The defenders do take to thwart your actions as the ladders are propped up against the walls. Perfect job. Campeki job. The first man over the wall of a crown, one of the most highly regarded awards in the army. As the senior centurion in a maniple, you should count on the help of your men. Yeah, let's go for that crown. Climb at breakneck speed. You're so quick and you can't take aim from the ramparts. You've reached the top, almost. It's going to be the garrison soldier. A Macedonian soldier left to garrison this city, way more prepared to fight than the militia. Oi. Fortuna. Yes, that's one. It's nice heat. Oi. Come on. Oi. Feint masters. Oi. Knee. Taking too much time. Oh, wait. That's the third one. Shiori. As soon as the last enemy is dispatched and the top of the wall is secured, you look around. We're first. Since it's broken, the city is yours to take. After you have left the burning ruins of Valoria behind, the battle are assigned. You're awarded a mural crown along with a munificent prize. Yes, yes. Praise. Cavalry scouts of a heavily guarded convoy. This, for the best sword. It was a copy by soldiers male Torakitai. That is how they call them. The rest of your raiding party is too far away. Should you attack with the troops you have with you, you're going to be outnumbered against tough, well-equipped opponents. They may be guarding something important, though. You remember ambush 2 hours walk from here, along the route of the convoy. Lead your troops there as soon as possible and attack. You reach the place and position your legionaries with instructions. You lie in wait. After what seems like an eternity, you hear the convoy approaching. You don't like it comes into view. The ground here will nullify their numerical advantage. Well, at least, but the battle won't be easy. Attack! Let's attacks from 2 sides. You fly in at one of the armored Torakitai. Your javelin lodges into Torikiti's shield and makes him fall back. You press on the attack, forcing your enemy quite in a disadvantageous. Torikitis, this iron-clad warrior, is plainly a notch above even a typical professional soldier. Shine! Hehe, Shiori. Warui. The remaining Torikitai surrender. Thanks to your tactical brilliancy, you have taken the convoy with minimal losses. Your charisma and intellect has increased. Watashi wa tensai desu. The wagons are laden with silver and iron, even some gold. You also find a small bar of metal. It is very similar to iron in weight, but it exhibits wavy streaks that I've never seen. There are barely 6 liberi. You take the prisoners and a valuable cargo back to your camp. The consul rewards you and the legionaries part in the ambush. Your reputation with him is so high, he gives strange metal to you. You decide to take it with use. He is the best weaponsmith in the legion and will surely know what to do with it. Perseus looks at the ingot, then at you, then at the ingot again. He mumbles something about whatever that it's supposed to mean. When he recovers his coherence, he tells you this alloy comes from far, far east. He heard about it during your stay this side of the sea, but didn't even believe it really existed until the moment. He smiles when you asked if he could make a good sword out of it with iron like this. He says he'll make the best sword you've ever had, the good fortune to handle. Days later. Perseus wasn't kidding. The sword is a marvel to be seen, but it is not until you test its balance and edge that you realize its true purpose. You thank the smith. He shrugs and says he was glad to be of service to a higher principle like you. He owed you a favor or two. Derek Iron Gladius. Can picky. The best sword you can have. Ooh, 6. It has slightly less anti-armor. 2 points less, but all the rest. The thread of your life is spun. You suffer a mortifying setback at Atrax. Your siege engines tear down a section of the city walls, but the Macedonian forms a phalanx behind the breach. They thwart any attempt to break into the city. The fact that your maniple wasn't involved in the attack does little to lessen your frustration. This episode is an anguishing reminder of how impervious a phalanx can be under the right conditions. Minus raises the siege and leads you in search of less defended targets. The town of Phanatreus, Antikyria, Amisus, Iampolis, and Daulis fall in rapid succession. The important city of Elatia is the last to fall. Its doom is sealed when a large section of the wall is brought down. When a dispute arises, Aetolian allies during a pillaging, it is only your intervention that prevents blood shed. Thread of your life is spun. There's a discussion between your comrades. The world is round, a notion he must have heard somewhere in this land. Most of the rest believe it is a weird concept. Have your say. Of course the world is round. And as ship nears the horizon, goes down and out of sight before the sails, you're kind of fascinated with the simplicity and irrefutably of your argument. The drive is spun yet again. The Agig Jointonian coalition. Flaminus and Philip beat again to no avail. Many suspect the consul of keeping a door open in case he's wronged, so that his successor won't take credit for ending the war. When he is given proconsular authority by the Senate, you are all certain that the conflict will go on till a overwhelming defeat forces Philip to accept all of Rome's demands. Also, you're when thousands of reinforcements from home join. Another foraging mission. Box. Oh, no problem. Ambush. Enemies in linen, each holding a light-colored shield, emerge from woods to attack you on the flank. close on you, hurling their javelins at the same moment. You deflect them both. Foros. Dun, 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 dun. Ouch. Is gonna leave a scar. And they retreat. Best grieves in the game. Nothing improved. But I'm not really much with that. Not much better. Steve was... Dun, dun. Last a lot of notifications suddenly. Yeez. Yeez, son. Oh no, it's if I'm let's read that correctly. Yeez, son. Yes, ye mochi. Okay. You camp in proximity of Faray, one of the most in Thessalia. All you know is that Philip and the main body of his army are somewhere in this region. The air is heavy with tension. There is no way around a confrontation to end this war. You find some comfort in the knowledge that this is already defeated in battle, but the setback at Atrax proved that under the right conditions, the phalanx can be nearly impossible to overcome. You can only hope that Flaminus is clever enough to prevent his fearsome yet scarcely mobile weapon full effectiveness, or think it fitty. But that is way beyond your control. You immediately set the thought aside. You better stay things you can have and an impact on. Cynocephaly. The last fight of the... You're accompanying a vanguard that mostly consists of light infantry. Your mission is to learn what you can of the Macedonians' whereabouts. It is a surprisingly short quest. You are crossing the hills to the north of your headquarters when you run into a similarly composed party, enemies. Their own camp must be very close. Not wasting time. They must have learned of your presence and is already on your heels. You don't have orders to observe from a safe distance, as you wait for the messengers sent to Flaminus to come back with instructions. Vanguard belongs to the Agema Peltast. You can tell by their insignia. If normal Peltasts are the best of Philip's infantry, these are the cream of the crop. Ultimate enemy. Issue a challenge to single combat. It could be an occasion for personal glory or an early grave. Let's do it! These are elite troops and most likely one of their best. Will you answer the challenge? Are you sure you want to do this? Yeah. Their leader comes forward. A Chiliach, a commander of 1,000. There are only 2 of them in the Agema. In a brisk voice, he asks if you're gratis. When you confirm, he gives you a long, praising look. It's reputation even among the enemy. The way he hurls his javelin at you leaves no doubt about his deft skills. You deflect his powerful and well-aimed attack. As you prepare to respond, he unsheathes his sword. It is not the usual blade they call Siphos in this land. It is a Hispanian sword, much worse. You remember seeing the decorations on the hilt. The sword belonged to Tertius Curius, one of the most prominent centurions in your legion. It was forged by a renowned Carpetanian bladesmith. Tertius fell almost 2 years ago near Peluina, reportedly killed of the Agema Peltas. Some believe there are more than a handful of opponents as dangerous as this one in the whole world. But now, it is too late to back out. Peeing. You could travel all around the fighter as adept as this Macedonian officer. Peeing. So. Mati. Benar. Yes. Didn't tire him out. Peeing. Come on, Nagema-chan. Kachi. Ah! Abunai. Yes. Peeing. Peeing. Abunai. Watch out. Abunai. Yes! Siri! Even better. Resistance. Ooh. 3 less. But 9 more. The coverage is not that good. 915. Oh. Nice. But the rest. Penalty awareness. Still too much for me. Your allies erupt in elation as you deal the killing blow. The two best war both armies have met in single combat, and out on top. The Agema Peltas look at you with a mix of astonishment. They do not interfere as you strip your fallen adversary of his weapons and armor. Dusk is approaching when the messengers come back. There will be no more fighting today. You are all to return to camp. Upon hearing of your duel, a true physician to take care of your wounds. In the morning, both commanders sent off a party of cavalry and light infantry. During the action, Italic horsemen are outshined by Aetolian allies. They are not as good as the Numidians, but still remote. On the next day, you break camp, imitating the Macedonians. Philip and Flaminus are dissatisfied with the ground. For 2 days, you move across South Italy, making no contact with the enemy forces. Their exact position hidden by high hills. Finally, camp at the sanctuary of far from Pharsalus. An intense thunderstorm makes sleep difficult at night. On awakening, you find the precipitating. Well, the Manians could be anywhere. You watch for as 10 cavalry, 1,000 are in this to the hill. At least you remember hills say the direct. Your large scouting party disappeared in the fog. You recall someone mentioned that they are called to say they back when turned into the years mostly. The patrol met another detachment about 12. First one aided to help them. Fog disappears at last. You can see them. Your allies are being steadily uphill by a superior force. Has formed you into 2 wings. Your is on the right of them, in front of the raging battle. There's nothing ahead between as far as you can see. You advance, and as the retreating skirmishers fall back, the center of your line makes contact with Philip's troop. The effect is almost immediate. The opposite side that is slowly losing ground. Nevertheless, as the fighting spreads as small mercenaries. What do they think they are doing? Triophoros. That was fast. You follow the fleeing mercenaries, but close to the top find a dreadful surprise. The phalanx is here. Its long pikes are lowered and ready to push you all back down. As the phalanx notice that their ranks look deeper than last time. It will be lighting against an avalanche. On the other side is at the right distance. You prepare to hurl your first javelin. You take aim at one of the enemy soldiers and hurl your javelin. Your strikes through, killing your unfortunate victim on the spot. As the other side gets closer and closer, you steel yourself for the incoming fight. Stop doing that. Yes. You have broken through the spear wall. You engage the phalangites without wasting time. You are outnumbered, but they are you. Insta-kill. Just insta-kill. You have pierced the spear wall, sowing death and panic, and yet it is not enough. The formation is too deep, the ground too unfavorable. Their rear ranks start attacking you with their pikes, and the surrounding phalangites threaten to crush you with their sheer numbers. On the whole front line is overpowering. Mercifully, the uneven ground is slowing down the cumbersome phalanx. Use a moment of respite to rally a little. You see with all the elephants in front of the infantry. They soon disappear field of view. You don't know what they are attacking. The hillside you are standing on hides everything. At length you try to contain the advance of the phalanx as best as you can. They launch another all-out assault. Deny Imperial formation, which has been dominating the eastern battlefields for a century and a half. Oi! Come on! Being no. You have broken through. You engage the phalanx without wasting time. You are outnumbered, but they are not as skilled as you. enemy. It's the fourth one? Or two? All the you're doing the spear wall this time if you know what you're in balance as small is enough to attack nations from the side. Your very little expression exalting will surely stop you. Too risky. Attack or into the gap before it's closed. You take as many men as you can and tell them hopefully suffice. The phalangites are caught unprepared by the move. Typical. Operation auxiliaries are coming to you with a phalanx. At least I have some friends. Chieftain leading these auxiliaries on the battlefield renders his weapon with outstanding prowess. Fire. It's one. Ah. Ping. Ah, itai. Itai. That's one less. And there's no longer reinforcing. Gourmet. Gourmet. Ite. Oi. Oi. Oh. Okay. Yes, we got a pain. Knock isn't enough. Come on, kill him! Ah, bien. Yes, Theory! The Thracians are faltering, and you can renew your assault on the flank of the phalanx. Too few of you to rout them, but you keep them pinned. Formation on their immediate right cannot advance without exposing its left flank, and the effect propagates all along the battle line. Treat that threaten to generate into a rout at any moment stalled. Your incredible initiative might have saved the whole army. You have lost count of the enemies you have killed today. As you keep giving orders, your compatriots look up to you peculiarly to worship a new god of war. But as you... Mars. Nova Mars. Long time, the situation hangs in the balance. That is the Roman men up the top of the hills behind the enemy. You have no idea they got there, and more competitors are pressing when they charge the phalanx from behind. With you renew the offensive. This battle is about the plight of the Macedonians is hopeless. Their long weapons are just a hindrance now that they are being attacked from multiple directions. Many phalangites throw their shields away in an attempt to flee. There is no escape for them. Survivors are holding their pikes high with both hands. A strange gesture you have never before. They must be surrendering. Tell your comrades the slaughter or the fighting. Let the butchery continue. Let's be nice. It takes a while and a lot of shouting, but they finally listen to you. You have saved the lives of these Macedonians, but many more all over the battlefield are lucky. They are massacred by sons before the When all is over, you learn by bits and scraps of information what really happened during the battle. The wing of your army charged with the elephants at the left of the Macedonians. There the phalanx was still in marching order on difficult ground. It was right away. Most of the Romans and their allies were busy chasing the enemy, but one of their tribunes took about half a legion and came to your rescue. What happened next, you have seen with your eyes. So it seems the enemy had an after all. He was rushed into it as much as you. As soon as your heroic action that stopped the advance phalanx becomes known, the soldiers of the maniples that were in the left wing acclaim you, say, a crowd. You start to grasp it to fight the tears. Fifth Roman into reach, fifth in the whole history of the Republic. Philip and have withdrawn to Macedonia. Peace talks are resumed shortly thereafter. This time, the king has no choice but to accept all the conditions imposed by Rome. The Macedonians give up all their lands of the Grecians in Europe and while impairing limitations of their military capacity. It looks like the sunset of the power that once had the world at its feet. Crown. You're rewarded for saving the whole left wing of the Atsinosyphili. That's a bit useless at this point. The Grecians acclaim you as a... I wonder if they realize they kitched one master or another. They are formally free and subject to their own laws. But now that set foot in Greece, Rome will not leave anytime soon. Literal the empire over a millennium and a half later. Such a wonderful and cool land, but each city is following its own petty interests, and they are divided by conflicts. They are doomed, subjugated by more purposeful and tight-knit powers. In a way, these thoughts quickly fade into the background of your mind. You're going home. The sun is rising behind you, the bow of the ship that will take you across the sea. As you look at the vast expanse of water, you think of all you have known who now lie buried in Hispania and Africa, or in the land you are leaving behind. You remember the enemies that fell before you. How many of them had a choice? You try to smother the thought as you used to, but for some reason it's not so easy now that it's all over. And they're alone, enjoying the company of the sea. The great sea that drop by drop becoming your sea. Endgame. Your service against Carthage with 14 iagera of land in Apulia. You spend a few placid years there with your wife and children. Iagera, that was less than a hectare. How much was that? Yeah, for much that it was, but it was less than what we do. Oh wait, 2,530 square meters. That's a fourth of a hectare. Mate. Hectare. Seven Scott had been removed 14 iagera of land in Apulia. Oh, I'm getting. I'll be kind of ruby now. You should hear your wife and children. The loot brought back was especially rich. You were able to double your holding, much less than half. There was enough left over to ensure a dignified existence to your family. Yeah, so 28 you get. Eventually, you were drafted once more, and the rulers so as a serious hegemony the army overseas to stop his effort liberating in the Europe. An experience had ensured Imperiari. And now really, what is it today? The capture doesn't really properly work. Thanks to your extremely high popularity, you were appointed Primus Pilus, the highest ranking centurion in the whole legion. Despite being close to your 40s, you were still highly respected as the best fighter in the army. After the first year of the war, nice to meet you again, your old commander, Scipio. This time he had chosen to act as a mere legate to his younger brother, Lucius, consul in charge, Asiaticus. As centurion, you had of war along with a man who had been your commander when Hannibal was defeated. The war was won, but as a Triarius you hardly saw any action. The great battle of Magnesia. Your return to Italia. Back as the illustrious winner of a grass crown, you were admitted to the senatorial rank. The honor and prestige implied by your new position dramatically changed your life and that of your family. You found yourself involved in the politics of the capital. After serving one term as quaest and one as an aedile. You were elected praetor and assigned to the province of Hispania Citerior, the very same province you helped conquer as a young Hastatus. It revisit Taraco and New Carthage after such a long time. The year of your administration was calm and devoid of incidents. In the final years of your life, war was declared upon Carthage third time. After siege, Carthage was razed to the ground by Scipio Aemilius, the adopted grandson of Scipio Africanus, your long-dead former commander. Your reaction to the news surprised the people around you. It was as if you had burned with impunity. A mere few days later, you signed its fate, peacefully in your sleep. The fourth. Yes. 22. Yes, 3 civic crime. Okay, that was it for this stream series. To end this stream at this, thank you all for watching. Now we're again next time. このストリームはお会いましょう。ではでは、おつふり、またね。じゃあ、バイバイ。Yeah, such a fascinating period in time. Bye.